Hello, welcome to the channel Our Day Stories. Sit back and listen to a new story. But don't forget to subscribe and like it.
Gary Clemens sat on his porch, his tired eyes staring out into the distance. It had been a long day, and the weight of the world seemed to rest on his shoulders. He sighed deeply, reminiscing about the past, about his father and the woman he married, Diane Gold, known by many as the Witch. As a child, Gary had grown up hearing stories about Diane's wicked nature. She had earned her nickname through years of tormenting the neighborhood kids, casting spells of fear and unease wherever she went. Gary's father, Ernest Mello, had fallen under her spell and married her against everyone's advice. The years passed, and Gary's father remained blissfully ignorant of Diane's true nature. He worked tirelessly to provide for his family, never suspecting that the woman he had married was slowly turning their lives into a living nightmare. Diane's malevolence grew stronger with each passing day, and Gary found himself at the receiving end of her cruelty. Diane's wickedness extended beyond her treatment of Gary. She began to sell off valuable possessions from their home, claiming they needed the money. But Gary knew the truth. Diane was merely using it as an excuse to satisfy her insatiable greed. He watched helplessly as their once happy and prosperous home was stripped bare, piece by piece. One fateful day, as Diane left the child unattended, Gary stumbled upon a hidden box in the attic. Inside, he found a collection of letters and photographs, revealing the true extent of his father's love for him. Tears streamed down his face as he read the heartfelt words written by Ernest Mello, expressing his deep affection and regret for not protecting Gary from Diane's torment. Enraged by the revelations, Gary made up his mind. He would confront Diane, expose her wickedness to the world, and save his father from her clutches. With renewed determination, he confronted Diane that very evening when she returned from her latest business venture. "Diane, I've had enough. Your cruelty ends today." Gary's voice trembled with a mix of anger and desperation. Diane looked at him with a cold smirk, her eyes filled with malice. "Oh, sweet Gary, do you really think anyone would believe a word you say? Your father loves me, and you are nothing but a nuisance," she sneered. Gary's heart sank, but he refused to back down. "I have evidence, Diane, proof of your true nature. I won't let you destroy my father's life any longer." Diane's face contorted with rage as she lunged at him, grabbing him by the collar. "You think you can defy me? I will make sure you regret this." A struggle ensued, Gary desperately trying to free himself from Diane's grip. In a moment of desperation, he managed to break free, stumbling backward. Without hesitation, he ran out of the house, his heart pounding with fear and determination. Gary's mind raced as he sprinted through the darkened streets. He needed help, someone he could trust. His thoughts turned to his childhood friend, Steve Payne. Steve had always believed him about Diane's wickedness, even when no one else did. If anyone could help him expose her, it was Steve. Finally reaching Steve's house, Gary pounded on the front door, his breath ragged and his body trembling. The door swung open, revealing a startled Steve. "Gary, what's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." Gary gasped for breath, his words coming out in a frantic rush. "Steve, it's Diane. She's been tormenting me, selling our belongings, and I found evidence of her true nature. I need your help to expose her and protect my father." Steve's eyes widened in disbelief, but he quickly composed himself. "Come in, Gary. We need to figure out a plan. We can't let her continue hurting you or your father." Inside Steve's living room, Gary recounted the years of torment he had endured at Diane's hands. He showed Steve the letters and photographs, proof of his father's love overshadowed by Diane's malevolence. Steve listened intently, his brow furrowed with concern. "Gary, we need to gather more evidence. We have to make sure your father sees the truth. It won't be easy, but we can't let her get away with this." Gary nodded, his determination renewed. "You're right, Steve. We have to be strategic. We need concrete evidence that Diane has been selling our belongings for her own gain. That's where we'll start." The two friends spent hours devising a plan, carefully outlining each step they would take to expose Diane's deceit. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were willing to do whatever it took to save Gary's father from her clutches. Their first move was to gather information from neighbors who had witnessed Diane selling the family's belongings. Gary and Steve went door to door, discreetly questioning those who had seen Diane in action. Slowly, a clear picture of her deceptive practices began to emerge. With each testimony they gathered, Gary's anger toward Diane grew. The stories they heard painted a picture of a conniving woman who had deceived not only his father, but also the entire neighborhood. They knew they were onto something big. Armed with a collection of witness statements and a timeline of Diane's shady transactions, Gary and Steve decided it was time to confront Ernest Mello directly. They couldn't bear to see him continue living in ignorance, oblivious to the true nature of the woman he had married. Gary's heart raced as he stood in front of his father, the evidence carefully laid out before him. Ernest looked at his son, confusion etched on his face. "What is all this, Gary? What's going on?" Taking a deep breath, Gary began to recount the years of torment he had endured and revealed Diane's true nature. Ernest listened in stunned silence, his eyes filled with a mixture of shock and disbelief. Ernest's hands trembled as he reached for one of the witness statements. His voice quivered as he spoke. I had no idea, Gary. How could I have been so blind? I never meant for any of this to happen." Tears welled up in Gary's eyes as he embraced his father. "It's not your fault, Dad. We'll get through this together." Ernest's eyes hardened with determination. "We can't let her get away with this, Gary. We need to take action and put an end to her wickedness once and for all." Gary nodded, his resolve matching his father's. "We have a plan, Dad. With Steve's help and the evidence we've gathered, we can expose her to the world and make sure she faces the consequences." Together, Gary, Ernest, and Steve meticulously prepared their case against Diane. They compiled the witness statements, photographs, and any other evidence they could find. The trio sought legal advice and hired a skilled attorney, Douglas Lane, to help them navigate the legal process. Douglas was known for his tenacity and determination to seek justice, and they believed he was the perfect ally to take on Diane in court. As the legal proceedings began, Gary, Ernest, Steve, and Douglas faced the daunting task of presenting their case against Diane. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as they called upon witnesses, presented evidence, and exposed Diane's deceitful actions to the judge and jury. Diane's mask of innocence began to crumble under the weight of the evidence presented against her. She vehemently denied any wrongdoing, but the mounting testimonies from witnesses and the undeniable paper trail of her sales painted a vivid picture of her true character. Throughout the trial, Gary's emotions were a tumultuous mix of anger, sadness, and determination. Seeing Diane squirm under the weight of her lies provided a glimmer of satisfaction, but the pain caused by years of abuse still lingered. The courtroom drama reached its climax as the final pieces of evidence were presented. The defense had no choice but to admit defeat, and Diane's web of lies unraveled completely. The judge delivered the verdict. Diane was found guilty of fraud, deceit, and emotional abuse. The news of Diane's conviction spread throughout the community like wildfire. People were shocked to learn the truth about the woman they had once feared and respected. Gary and his father received an outpouring of support and sympathy from their neighbors, who had been unwittingly deceived by Diane's cunning. With the legal battle won, Gary and his father began the process of healing and rebuilding their lives. They moved away from the tainted memories of their old home and started afresh, surrounded by genuine friends and well-wishers who had seen their resilience in the face of adversity. Steve remained an unwavering pillar of support for Gary and Ernest. The bond between the friends grew stronger as they navigated the aftermath of the trial. Steve's loyalty and unwavering belief in Gary's story had played a crucial role in bringing Deanne's true nature to light. As time passed, Gary and his father found solace in their renewed relationship and the freedom from Diane's torment. They forged a bond built on trust, love, and the shared experience of overcoming hardship. In the years that followed, Gary and Ernest dedicated themselves to raising awareness about emotional abuse and the importance of speaking up against it. They shared their story in local communities, schools, and support groups, offering hope and inspiration to those who had suffered in silence. The wounds of the past gradually healed, leaving behind scars that reminded Gary and his father of their resilience and the power of truth. Their story became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the importance of standing up against injustice, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Gary's journey had transformed him from a tormented victim into an advocate for change. He channeled his pain into helping others, offering support and guidance to those who had experienced similar forms of abuse. One day, as Gary addressed a group of survivors, a young woman named Anna Gifford approached him with tears in her eyes. She shared her own harrowing story of emotional abuse and expressed her gratitude for his bravery in speaking out. Touched by Anna's vulnerability, Gary felt a deep sense of empathy. He recognized the strength within her and offered to mentor her on her journey to healing. The wounds of the past gradually healed, leaving behind scars that reminded Gary and his father of their resilience and the power of truth. Their story became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the importance of standing up against injustice, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Gary's journey had transformed him from a tormented victim into an advocate for change. He channeled his pain into helping others, offering support and guidance to those who had experienced similar forms of abuse. One day, as Gary addressed a group of survivors, a young woman named Anna Gifford approached him with tears in her eyes. She shared her own harrowing story of emotional abuse and expressed her gratitude for his bravery in speaking out. Touched by Anna's vulnerability, Gary felt a deep sense of empathy. He recognized the strength within her and offered to mentor her on her journey to healing. Gary became a guiding light for Anna, helping her navigate the complexities of healing from emotional abuse. He shared his own experiences, offering comfort and understanding, and taught her coping mechanisms to rebuild her shattered self-esteem. Through their shared journey, a strong bond formed between Gary and Anna. They supported each other through the ups and downs, celebrating victories and providing solace during moments of vulnerability. Together, they found strength in their shared resilience. As the years passed, Gary's advocacy work gained recognition, and he became a well-known speaker and advocate for survivors of emotional abuse. His voice resonated with countless individuals, inspiring them to break free from their own cycles of torment and seek the healing they deserved. Anna, too, found her own purpose in helping others. Empowered by her own healing journey, she became an advocate herself, sharing her story and offering support to those who needed it most. Together, Gary and Anna became beacons of hope for survivors worldwide. Despite the hardships they had endured, Gary and his father Ernest grew closer with each passing day. They cherished the newfound freedom from Diane's influence and embraced the joy that life had to offer. Their bond served as a constant reminder of the strength of familial love and resilience. In the twilight of his life, Ernest passed away peacefully, surrounded by the love and gratitude of his son. Gary honored his father's memory by continuing their mission to raise awareness about emotional abuse and help survivors find their voice. Gary's advocacy work reached new heights as he established a foundation in his father's name. The Ernest Mello Foundation became a beacon of support, offering resources, counseling, and safe spaces for survivors of emotional abuse. As Gary reflected on his journey, he marveled at the profound impact his experiences had on shaping his purpose. The scars of the past no longer defined him, but rather served as reminders of his resilience and the power of speaking one's truth. Throughout his life, Gary never forgot the lessons he had learned, the importance of empathy, the strength found in genuine connections, and the transformative power of standing up against injustice. He continued to touch lives, sharing his story with passion and vulnerability. His words resonated with those who had experienced the darkness of emotional abuse, offering them a glimmer of hope and the belief that they, too, could reclaim their lives. The impact of Gary's advocacy work extended far beyond his own community. He traveled to different cities and countries, speaking at conferences, collaborating with organizations, and igniting conversations about emotional abuse and its long-lasting effects. One evening, as Gary stood on a stage, delivering a powerful speech to a packed auditorium, he couldn't help but feel a profound sense of fulfillment. His journey had taken him from a tormented child to a warrior for change, a testament to the strength of the human spirit. As Gary's speech concluded, the audience rose to their feet, applauding and thanking him for his bravery and dedication. In that moment, he realized the immense impact his story had on the lives of others, the validation, healing, and empowerment it had brought to countless survivors. Amidst the applause, Gary locked eyes with Anna, who had been by his side throughout his journey. She smiled at him, her own journey of healing evident in her radiant presence. In that shared moment, they understood the significance of their intertwined paths. After the event, Gary and Anna took a quiet moment to reflect on their collective journey. They marveled at how their individual stories had converged and how their resilience. "How far we've come," Gary said, a hint of awe in his voice. "From the darkness we endured to this place of strength and purpose." Anna nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. "I'm forever grateful that our paths crossed, Gary. Together we've made a difference in so many lives." As they reminisced, a thought took hold in Gary's mind. "Anna, what if we create a joint initiative, a collaboration that brings together our experiences and resources to empower even more survivors?" Anna's face lit up with enthusiasm. "Yes, let's combine our efforts and establish a program that provides comprehensive support, education, and advocacy for survivors of emotional abuse." The vision for their joint initiative took shape. They decided to create an organization called Rising Hearts, symbolizing the resilience and strength survivors possessed. The goal was to provide a holistic approach to healing, ensuring survivors felt seen, heard, and empowered. With unwavering determination, Gary and Anna set out to make Rising Hearts a reality. They assembled a team of dedicated professionals, including therapists, counselors, and advocates, who shared their passion for supporting survivors and fostering a community of healing. Rising Hearts launched with a comprehensive range of services. They established a helpline, offering round-the-clock support to survivors in need. They also organized support groups, therapy sessions, and workshops focused on self-care, rebuilding self-esteem, and reclaiming personal power. Gary and Anna tirelessly worked to raise funds and spread awareness about Rising Hearts. They collaborated with influencers, hosted fundraising events, and engaged with the media to amplify their message and reach as many survivors as possible. Their efforts paid off as Rising Hearts garnered widespread recognition and support. It became a beacon of hope for survivors worldwide, a safe haven where they could find solace, guidance, and a sense of belonging. As Rising Hearts flourished, Gary and Anna's partnership grew stronger. They shared the joys and challenges of running an organization, leaning on each other for support and guidance. Together, they were a formidable force for change. Years passed, and Rising Hearts expanded its reach, establishing branches in different cities and collaborating with organizations globally. Their programs and initiatives reached survivors from all walks of life, ensuring that no one felt alone in their journey to healing. Gary and Anna continue to advocate for policy changes and legal reforms to protect survivors of emotional abuse. They fought tirelessly to raise awareness and eliminate the stigma surrounding this form of abuse, aiming for a society where no one's pain was overlooked or trivialized. In recognition of their unwavering dedication, Gary and Anna received numerous accolades and awards, but their greatest reward came from the countless survivors whose lives were transformed through the support and resources provided by Rising Hearts. One day, as Gary addressed a gathering of survivors, he looked out at the sea of faces filled with hope. "Remember, you are not defined by the abuse you endured. You are defined by your resilience, your strength, and your capacity to heal and thrive." A survivor in the audience, moved by Gary's words, stood up and shared her story of healing and empowerment. Others followed suit, each testimony reinforcing the power of Rising Hearts and the impact it had on their lives. The room filled with applause and tears of both sorrow and joy. It was a testament to the triumph of the human spirit, the ability to rise above adversity, and the profound impact of a supportive community. As the event concluded, Gary and Anna embraced, their hearts filled with gratitude and a sense of fulfillment. They knew that their work with Rising Hearts had only just begun, and that there were countless more lives to touch and empower. Together, Gary and Anna continued to lead Rising Hearts, constantly adapting and expanding their programs to meet the evolving needs of survivors. They remained committed to their mission, fueled by the resilience and strength they witnessed in the survivors they served. Through the years, Rising Hearts became a leading organization in the field of supporting survivors of emotional abuse. It garnered support from influential figures, gained recognition from governmental bodies, and played an instrumental role in shaping legislation to protect survivors' rights. The impact of Rising Hearts extended far beyond the services it provided. It sparked a global conversation about emotional abuse, prompting individuals, communities, and institutions to confront the issue head-on and work towards prevention and intervention. Gary and Anna's dedication to their cause never wavered. They continued to speak at conferences, write books, and share their knowledge and experiences through various media channels. Their voices became symbols of hope and empowerment for survivors worldwide. Despite the challenges they faced along the way, Gary and Anna found solace in the knowledge that their work was changing lives. They witnessed the transformation of survivors from brokenness to strength, proving that healing and a brighter future were possible for anyone who dared to seek it. In the midst of their advocacy work, Gary and Anna found time for personal joy and fulfillment. They celebrated milestones together, cherished moments with loved ones, and maintained a deep sense of gratitude for the blessings life had bestowed upon them. Gary's father, Ernest, remained a guiding presence in their hearts, his memory forever fueling their determination to help others. His spirit of resilience and unwavering love continued to inspire their work with Rising Hearts and served as a constant reminder of the importance of breaking the cycle of abuse. As Gary and Anna looked back on their respective journeys, they marveled at the ripple effect of their actions. Each survivor they empowered, each life they touched, had the potential to create a positive impact in their own communities and beyond. The success of Rising Hearts allowed Gary and Anna to expand their reach even further. They collaborated with international organizations, working together to combat emotional abuse on a global scale and bring healing and support to survivors around the world. Their work received widespread recognition, earning them invitations to speak at prestigious events and conferences. They used these platforms to advocate for policy changes, raise awareness, and inspire others to take action in their own communities. Throughout their journey, Gary and Anna remained grounded in their shared values of empathy, compassion, and empowerment. They understood that healing was not a linear path and that every survivor's journey was unique. They approached each individual with kindness and understanding, meeting them where they were in their healing process. With the passage of time, Gary and Anna began to contemplate their legacy. They knew that the work of Rising Hearts would endure, but they also recognized the importance of nurturing the next generation of advocates and leaders. Gary and Anna established a mentoring program within Rising Hearts, offering guidance and support to young individuals passionate about ending emotional abuse. They nurtured their growth, sharing their wisdom and experiences to empower the next wave of changemakers. The mentoring program flourished, with passionate individuals joining the cause and contributing their unique perspectives and skills. Gary and Anna were filled with pride as they witnessed the ripple effect of their mentorship, knowing that the future of advocacy for survivors was in capable hands. The Rising Hearts mentoring program produced a new generation of advocates who were dedicated to continuing the mission of empowerment, support, and raising awareness about emotional abuse. Gary and Anna took a step back from the day-to-day operations of Rising Hearts, knowing that the organization was in capable hands. They shifted their focus to writing books, sharing their personal journeys, and imparting the wisdom they had gained over the years. Their books became bestsellers, resonating with survivors and those seeking to understand the complexities of emotional abuse. They used their platform to challenge societal norms, educate the public, and empower individuals to take a stand against emotional abuse in all its forms. As their influence grew, Gary and Anna became sought-after speakers and advisors in the field of emotional abuse prevention and support. They collaborated with universities, organizations, and policymakers to develop comprehensive programs that addressed emotional abuse at its core. Through their tireless efforts, Gary and Anna witnessed a shift in societal attitudes towards emotional abuse. It was no longer seen as a private matter, but as a pressing issue that required collective action and support. The impact of their work was not limited to survivors and advocacy. It extended to the broader community, where conversations about healthy relationships, consent, and emotional well-being became more prevalent. They had successfully sparked a cultural shift. As they reflected on their journey, Gary and Anna never forgot the lessons they had learned. They continued to prioritize self-care, nurturing their own emotional well-being, and cherishing the love and support they found in each other and their loved ones. Their personal lives flourished alongside their advocacy work. Gary and Anna built a strong and loving partnership, filled with mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. They celebrated milestones together and found joy in the simple moments of life. Gary's father, Ernest, remained a source of inspiration and guidance, even in his absence. His spirit lived on in their hearts, reminding them to cherish the power of love, forgiveness, and the strength found in overcoming adversity. With each passing year, the impact of Rising Hearts grew exponentially. The organization's programs reached survivors in remote corners of the world, bringing hope, healing, and a sense of community to those who had felt isolated and alone. As Gary and Anna approached the later stages of their lives, they felt a deep sense of contentment. They had poured their hearts and souls into their advocacy work, leaving a lasting legacy that would continue to transform lives for generations to come. In their retirement, Gary and Anna found solace in nature, spending their days surrounded by the beauty of the world they had fought so hard to protect. They reveled in the simple pleasures of life, grateful for the opportunity to savor each moment. Their love for each other and their shared purpose remained unwavering until the end. They faced the final chapters of their lives with grace and gratitude, knowing that they had made a profound difference in the lives of survivors and the fight against emotional abuse. As they bid farewell to the world, their spirits lived on in the hearts of those they had touched. The legacy of Gary and Anna, the founders of Rising Hearts, continued to inspire future generations to stand up against emotional abuse and foster a world of love, empathy, and healing. Even in the face of adversity, love and compassion could triumph. Gary and Anna's story became a beacon of hope, reminding people that it was never too late to break free from the chains of abuse and build a life filled with love and empowerment. And so the story of Gary Clemens and Anna Gifford, the founders of Rising Hearts, came to a close. Their legacy lived on, etched in the hearts and minds of survivors, advocates, and all those who had been touched by their unwavering commitment to change. Despite the challenges they faced, Gary and Anna remained resolute in their mission to create a better life for themselves and those affected by emotional abuse. Through their unwavering determination and perseverance, they were able to bring about real change in their community. The impact of Rising Hearts spread beyond their immediate community. Through workshops, awareness campaigns, and collaborations with other organizations, Gary and Anna were able to reach a broader audience, educating the public about the signs of emotional abuse and the importance of intervention and support. Their efforts didn't go unnoticed by local authorities and policymakers. Gary and Anna became influential advocates, working closely with government agencies to strengthen legislation and support systems for survivors of emotional abuse. With their expertise and first-hand experiences, Gary and Anna were invited to speak at conferences and community events. They shared their personal stories and the lessons they had learned, inspiring others to take action and make a difference in their own communities. Gary and Anna's dedication to their cause didn't come without sacrifices. They poured countless hours into their work, often sacrificing personal time and financial stability. But their passion for helping others and creating a world free from emotional abuse fueled their perseverance. As they navigated the ups and downs of their journey, Gary and Anna found solace in their shared love and support for each other. They leaned on one another during challenging times, finding strength in their partnership and the shared goal they were working towards. Amidst their advocacy work, Gary and Anna also found moments of joy and fulfillment in their personal lives. They made time for hobbies, cherished friendships, and created a balance that allowed them to sustain their passion for their cause. As they reached their later years, Gary and Anna knew it was time to pass the torch to the next generation of advocates. They mentored and trained young individuals who shared their vision, ensuring that their work would continue long after they were gone. In their retirement, Gary and Anna looked back on their journey with a sense of pride and accomplishment. They saw the lives they had touched, the survivors they had helped, and the positive impact they had made on their community. Their legacy lived on in the transformed lives of survivors who had found healing and empowerment through Rising Hearts. The organization continued to thrive under new leadership, carrying forward the mission that Gary and Anna had started.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, write your opinion in the comments.